On this Thursday, July 26th. Controversy over a weekend charity event held by Willie Wilson. The Chicago mayoral candidate explains just what happened. A salty lake underneath the south pole of Mars. Scientists think they have found one.
It's the largest elected school board system in the United States of America.
Those words from the mayor last month on Chicago Tonight incensed some local school council members, as many councils are short on members. A new initiative that aims to disrupt the school-to-prison pipeline by focusing on the needs of children with incarcerated parents.
He would be the first to tell you that he could not sing for beans.
My dream tells me one day.
Remembrances of the great maestro Leonard Bernstein on what would have been his 100th birthday. That is, it's coming up soon, as told by his oldest daughter. And in tonight's Viewer Feedback, your thoughts about plans for a march down Lakeshore Drive and over to Wrigley Field, calling for the resignation of the mayor and police superintendent. All that and more next on Chicago Tonight. Thanks for joining us. I'm Phil Ponce. President Trump comes to Illinois, but Governor Rauner has other things to do. Paris Schutz has that story and more of what's making news in Chicago tonight. Paris.
Phil, the president paid a visit to downstate Granite City to tout a revival of jobs at a U.S. Steel plant there. President of U.S. Steel credits the Trump administration's new tariffs on foreign steel and aluminum for restarting the factory and hiring back 800 workers. Now, Trump thanked the Illinois Republican congressional delegation.
We're here today to celebrate a great victory for all of you, for this community, and for our entire country.
Noticeably absent from today's event was Governor Bruce Rauner, who was at a separate campaign event in suburban Itasca. The Illinois Chamber of Commerce today criticized the president's trade policy, calling it, quote, scattershot and, quote, random, and says it puts Illinois' agriculture and manufacturing economies at risk. Some relatively good fiscal news today for Chicago public schools. The ratings agency S&P upgraded CPS's bonds from a B stable to a B plus stable rating. Now, S&P credits the upgrade on an improved budget outlook driven by the increase in state funding for CPS. Yesterday, the CPS board approved a nearly $6 billion budget. That's the largest in several years, and that doesn't even include almost another billion in capital spending. Well, Illinois' richest man teams up with the Chicago Fire Soccer Club to open up a new soccer field on the south side. Investment mogul Ken Griffin and the team helped finance the new mini-pitch soccer field in Walnut Park in the Archer Heights neighborhood. Griffin says there will be 50 mini-pitch soccer fields opening up across the city in the next 5 years, and he says he gets a special kick out of this particular philanthropic project.
The soccer field is where I experienced the opportunity to learn many of the key values that have driven my success. The importance of teamwork, of dedication, of competition, and of fair play.
As for the weather tonight, partly cloudy with a low around 61, then partly sunny skies tomorrow with a high near 76. And there's a lot going on in the background here. You never have to miss Chicago Tonight. You can stream it on Facebook or watch via podcast and the PBS video app, as well as online at WTTW.com/Chicago Tonight. And finally, up next, Phil Ponce and mayoral candidate Willie Wilson, raring to go.
Tonight is made possible in part by Allstate. Allstate is investing in Chicago's youth. We believe good starts young. That's why we're helping our youth develop the skills they need to achieve success in life. Allstate is proud to empower the next generation of leaders.
Over the weekend, Chicago mayoral candidate Willie Wilson handed out nearly $300,000 in the form of checks and cash at a charity event. That's according to reports. It's something Wilson says he's been doing with his nonprofit, the Dr. Willie Wilson Foundation, for about 30 years. But Sunday's event drew criticism locally and across the country from people who questioned whether he was helping people pay property taxes or by distributing the cash buying votes. Here with us to discuss what happened on Saturday is philanthropist, businessman, and candidate for mayor of Chicago, Willie Wilson. And welcome back to Chicago Tonight.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
First of all, there's been some confusion in reports as to exactly how much money was given away. First, let's talk about the pre-printed checks, because the understanding is that there were pre-printed checks given out as well as cash. Who received the checks?
Well, we had about 1,500 people that received checks. Afterward, people came off the street, and we gave them, cash. Those are people who, misdemeanor, nonviolent, don't have ID, people sleeping on the street, things of that nature. And I'm not gonna turn them down. And I'm gonna always do what's the right thing to do. That is to help the community and its people. Now, I'm told that I violated some kind of laws or whatever it may be, all right? No laws were broken. I will continue to do what I'm going to do unless there's a law that says different.
All right, so there was two sources of charity or assistance, whatever the term you want to use. As far as sticking with the checks for a minute, what was the total amount that was given out in the checks?
I haven't added everything up, but it's probably close to a couple $100,000. But some of the checks have not been picked up yet, because a lot of people's in the church. About 2,000 people we help, and there's more than that. We'll take care of those when we get back, because the day after I went out of town. But approximate, close to that.
And the checks were issued for people to help them pay their property taxes.
That's right.
Where did the money for the checks come from?
Well, 100,000 of them came from the governor. The rest of it for me.
I see. And how much did you give out in cash? You say you gave out roughly a couple $100,000 in checks for to help people pay their property taxes. How much did you give out in cash that day?
That day I had about $40,000 on me, and I take that out because look, last 3 or 4 years in a row I've been doing this every year, right? So I know what's happened. When you give money out, people comes in, and they're out there, So we brought those dollars in there to make sure that, look, somebody comes in there, we're not going to turn them down.
Okay, and where did the money from the cash gifts come from?
Did the cash gift come
from?
Yeah,
the cash that you passed out, where did that money come from?
That money came from me.
Okay, so was there any of the governor's money in that?
No, all his money is in check. That's it. I only give away money that belonged to me.
I see. Did the governor know that you were going to be handing out the cash? Because that seems to be what is really bothering him, the fact that that cash was given out. Did he know that ahead of time?
No. Look, we don't know who come into those churches through those doors. The governor didn't have no idea of that. In fact, he stayed for the service, and we was passing out the check. He actually left, all right? Then when the people came in afterward, that's when we started giving out the cash and everything at that particular time. But no, he didn't have no idea that I was giving out my own money in that way. Even though we've done it 3 or 4 years in a row, that was that.
I see. Well, the governor says he's fine with the pre-vetted checks where people applied for this assistance and you cut the checks to individuals, named individuals. But he says that the cash handouts were outrageous and that if you're a candidate for office, it is improper to do. What is your reaction to that?
That's the governor's own opinion. It's certainly not mine. If the governor was on the other side of the line, needed food to eat, I would give it to him, right? But see, I don't think nobody got a right to question about my own money. His money was used for what it was used for. And if the governor, anybody want that money back, I'd write a check today and give it back to him. It makes me no difference, But he gave it, it helped the people, very appreciative of that. And if JB or anybody want to give me some money, give it to me. I'll give it to the people. I give 99% of my money pretty much away. We got a company, we do about 6 to 2 million a year. You know, so we give it away to help the poor, the needed, you know, the people who can't pay taxes, people who've been taking their homes and things of that nature, you know. So that's what we do with our money we help. You know.
We just saw a video of you handing out cash. How much were you handing out?
We hand out that day a total between $37,000 and $40,000.
No, I mean, what were the denominations that you were handing out?
They were 50s and 100s.
50s and 100s.
Right.
All right. Well, the concern, I think, on the governor's part and the criticism that has come your way is that there's an expectation that if you give money to people, that you expect them to vote for you.
Well, how can I expect people to vote for me? Most of those people on the street don't even have IDs. You know? I mean, we do this every day. You can catch me any day if the cameras follow me. You can catch me on the street of Chicago giving away money. I never pass up anybody got a sign say I need food to eat. Never do. All
So
right?
how much would you say you give away in those informal settings on a daily basis over the course of a year?
I don't know, but I tell you what, we give away approximately $300,000 every year to people on the street and people who need it. Approximately, that's what we give away. I think the people who complain about the money that I give away, why don't they give away money? You know? Why aren't they thinking about what I give away versus they should be concentrating on the violence, you know, or taking poor people homes away from them by raising the taxes. Well, those are the important things. I haven't done anything but give my own money away. It's not a crime to do that.
The governor's campaign announced that he no longer will be donating to your foundation. He's donated a couple of $100,000 over the course of the year. How would you describe your relationship with him today? What is it like?
I haven't had time to think about it. I mean, we'll talk or something like that.
Have you talked since Sunday?
No, we raised a talk, but nothing heavyweight. But look, I'm appointed on the task force trying to get contract for people, African American contract for the state. You know, but that doesn't bother me.
But you haven't talked to him since Sunday about this particular event?
No,
I see.
no.
As you know, Lisa Madigan is investigating if you broke any laws, and some aldermen have introduced a resolution calling on other federal prosecutors to look into whether you broke any laws, and they're also calling on election officials to look into it. What's your reaction to that?
I think Lisa Madigan, why don't she investigate her own father? Yeah? Why don't she investigate Ron Emanuel? You know? Cover up the situation for Laquan McDonald's. Why don't she investigate those things? Why don't she investigate the things that the mayor in particular, all right? Do not put economic development and contract back into those poor communities. Why don't he do that? Why don't she investigate the things that he cover up? You know, I think it's a witch hunt, you know. But then the other thing is this too, people make me really mad about this whole situation. I'm upset about it, all right? Look, you understand this here. I'm from down south, where Jim Crow days, all right? We made it from 20 cents per hour, ran with my home, you know, at age 13. We struggled hard.
You made 20 cents an hour as a boy.
Yeah, sharecropper. From the Jim Crow days down south. I've been through all that kind of stuff. To come up